The journey through the wilderness had been long, but now the land of promise was near. The people of Israel had walked through the desert, following the cloud by day and the fire by night. They had received the Torah, seen the tabernacle filled with the presence of Elohim, and had been sustained by manna from heaven. And now they stood at the border of the land that had been promised to their forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Moshe called the people together, and before them stood 12 chosen men, one from each tribe. These were not ordinary men. They were leaders, respected and trusted by their people. Among them were Kalev of the tribe of Yehuda and Yahusha of the tribe of Ephraim. Moshe turned to the 12 and spoke, "Go up into the land of Canaan and see what it is like. Are the people strong or weak? Are they few or many? Is the land good or bad? Are the cities fortified or open? Is the land rich or poor? Bring back some of its fruit, so we may know what awaits us." The 12 spies nodded and set out, crossing over into the land that Elohim had promised. For 40 days the men walked through the land. They saw rolling hills, lush valleys, and rivers flowing with life. The land was good, rich with abundance, just as Elohim had said. But they also saw mighty cities with high walls. They saw strong warriors who seemed like giants. In a valley called Eshcol, they came upon a vineyard unlike any they had ever seen. The fruit was so abundant that one single cluster of grapes was so large it had to be carried by 2 men on a pole. Taking the fruit with them, they turned back toward the camp. They had seen the land. Now they would give their report. As they approached, the people rushed out to meet them. "What did you see?" they asked. "Is the land truly as wonderful as Elohim promised?" The spies lifted the fruit high for all to see. "The land is good," they declared. "It flows with milk and honey." The people cheered. But then 10 of the spies shook their heads. They said, "The land is good, but the people are strong." They said, "The cities are large and fortified. We saw giants, the descendants of Anak. We are like grasshoppers in their sight. We cannot take the land." Fear spread through the camp like wildfire. The people began to murmur, "Why has Elohim brought us here, only to be destroyed? It would have been better for us to stay in Mitzrayim. Let us choose another leader and return." But one voice rose above the rest. Kalev stepped forward. His eyes burned with faith, and his voice was steady. "Let us go up at once and take the land. We are well able to overcome it." But the 10 spies shook their heads. "No, we are not able. They are stronger than we are." The people wept that night, their cries filling the air. They refused to trust Elohim. At sunrise, Moshe and Aaron fell on their faces before the congregation, pleading with them. Then Yahusha, son of Nun, stepped forward, standing beside Kalev. "The land we passed through is exceedingly good," he cried. "If Yahweh delights in us, he will bring us into it. Do not rebel against Yahweh, and do not fear the people of the land, for they are like bread for us. Their protection has left them, and Yahweh is with us. Do not be afraid." But the people refused to listen. They picked up stones, ready to strike Yahusha and Kalev down. And then the cloud of Yahuwah descended upon the tabernacle. A deep silence fell over the camp, and Elohim spoke. "How long will these people reject me? How long will they refuse to trust in me? Despite all the signs I have done among them, I will strike them with pestilence and disinherit them. And I will make of you, Moshe, a greater and mightier nation." Moshe fell on his face before Yahweh, pleading for mercy. "O Yahweh, do not destroy this people. If you do, the nations will say, 'He brought them out of Mitzrayim only to destroy them in the wilderness. Show your great mercy as you have before." Yahweh heard Moshe's plea. "I have forgiven them," he said, "but as surely as I live, not one of them who has seen my wonders and yet rejected me shall enter the land. Only my servant Kalev, who has a different spirit and follows me completely, shall inherit it, and Yahusha, son of Nun, shall lead Yisrael in." Then Elohim pronounced their punishment. "Your children shall wander in the wilderness for 40 years. 1 year for each day the spies search the land. Until this generation is gone, you shall not enter the promise." The 10 spies who had spread fear among the people were struck with a plague and perished. The camp grew silent. Their hearts were heavy. They had come so close, but because of their unbelief, they would now wander the wilderness for 40 years. Yet even in judgment, there was hope, for a new generation would rise. Through the years, the people had been tested again and again. They had fought against kings and giants, marching forward at the command of Elohim. They had seen Balak, the king of Moab, try to curse them through the prophet Balaam, only for Elohim to turn the curse into a blessing. They had faced rebellion, plagues, and trials, yet through it all, Elohim had remained faithful. Now, standing before the people for the last time, Moshe's voice was strong. "Hear, O Yisrael, today I set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life that you and your children may live. Love Yahuwah your Elohim, walk in his ways, and guard his commands, for he is your life and the length of your days, and he will give you the land he swore to your fathers." The people listened, their eyes upon him, their hearts open. Moshe continued, reminding them of all that Elohim had done. "Do not forget, when you eat and are satisfied, when you build houses and dwell in them, when your herds and flocks increase, do not say, 'My own strength has gained me this wealth.' Remember Yahuwah your Elohim, for it is he who gives you the power to prosper." The words etched into their souls. He warned them, too, of what would happen if they turned away. "If you follow after other mighty ones, if you walk in the ways of the nations around you, you will perish from the land. But if you return to Yahuwah with all your heart and soul, he will gather you back, no matter how far you have been scattered." Then Moshe lifted his hands and blessed the people, each tribe by name, speaking words of promise over them. Yehuda, the tribe of strength and kingship. Levi, the tribe of priests and teachers. Yosef, the fruitful bough, blessed beyond measure. One by one, he spoke over them, giving them their inheritance, their place among Israel. Then, at last, his task was complete. Moshe turned and walked alone toward the mountain. He climbed to the peak of Mount Nebo, where Elohim had led him. And from there, Elohim showed him all the land, the valleys, the rivers, the hills stretching far and wide, the land of Yehuda, the land of Naphtali, the land of Yosef, the land promised to their fathers. Moshe's heart was full, the journey was complete, and there, in the presence of Elohim, Moshe, the servant of Yahuwah, breathed his last. The people of Israel mourned him for 30 days, their hearts heavy, their eyes filled with tears, but his spirit remained with them. And Yahuwah had already chosen their new leader, Yahusha, son of Nun, the one who had spied out the land and remained faithful. The one who had walked beside Moshe as his servant was now the leader of Israel. And Yahuwah spoke to him, saying, "Be strong and courageous, do not be afraid, nor be discouraged, for Yahuwah your Elohim is with you wherever you go." The time had come, the wandering was over, and under Yahusha's leadership, Yisrael would finally cross the Jordan. As we finish Shemot, we must remember Yahweh and all He did for His people. This was still just the beginning. We will read and learn so much more as we continue on to Yahusha. Until next time, little one, Lila Tov and Shalom.